people talk about their fastest sale being a few hours or whatever. So yeah, so that's going to be a tough record to break. They say all records are made to be broken. I don't know if that one's ever going to be broken. Hello, I am Brian the Motley Mix Merchant. Welcome to M Cubed. Thank you very much for dropping by. If it's the first time you've been here, I'm a Canadian eBay reseller. I pick up all of my items for resale at auctions these days. I should say all, about 98.5% of them are coming from auctions, both live and online. I do go to the thrift store when I'm really, really bored. I have nothing else to do. I picked up a couple items, which I've sold today to talk to you about. But yeah, I just sell to Americans on eBay.com. I also sell a few things to Canadians as well. But I've got a great shipping company that ships my stuff over the river for me. And talk a little bit more about that too at the end of the video. But first, today is mostly going to be a What Sold on eBay video, because it's been a couple of weeks since I've seen you. And before I get into what sold, I want to talk about that very briefly. I don't know where to begin, except to tell you that burnout is a thing. Burnout is real, especially amongst somebody doing this kind of stuff. It's interesting that one of the other YouTubers that I follow just did a video on this a couple days ago, when I've already been through it now in the last couple of weeks. I was ready to call it quits. I was starting to think about how many other things I could be doing to make more than what I'm making now as far as income goes. There are bills to pay and there's a life to live. But, you know, after working it through it and talking to my significant other, and she and I had a few good talks about it, and it's something I love doing. And we'll make it work with the money. And, you know, you're not in this, if you're doing it part-time especially, you're really not in this for the money usually, because it's a hard grind to try and make a lot of cash. So, I mean, it also depends on your model. What do you want to sell? How much do you want to work at the business? What do you want to spend your time doing, whether it's thrifting or sourcing your stuff? So it was an interesting couple of weeks, and a lot of decisions were made. And one of the decisions is to carry on, and to carry on wholeheartedly, and really just plug away at it, do what I can, make whatever money I can, and have fun while I'm doing it. Not getting any younger. I'm in my late 50s, mid-late 50s. Is that a good way of putting 57? Mid-late 50s? And so, you know, it's for fun right now, and I'll keep trying to make it for fun. You know, you get stressed once in a while about things, but it's time to carry on, and it's time to get at this and really start maybe expanding my product line, the things that I sell, what I look for when I'm sourcing at auctions and that kind of thing. And I did that this week. I'll talk about that briefly too after we do the What Sold segment. So let's start it off. Let's do what sold on eBay over the past 2 weeks. And it was not a bad 2 weeks overall. Dead spaces, weekends were busy, a few days dead, weekend was busy, a few days dead, and then the last few days have been actually very, very good. And I really do think it's the listing thing. I really, really think that eBay's algorithm is looking for you to be listing items on your store every single day. Because when I started doing that about 5 days ago, I've now sold 2 items, both yesterday and today, after having 5 days of absolutely nothing. So let's start off with the most recent, other than today's, because they're both best offers that still have to be paid, so they're not technically officially sold yet till they get paid. So starting off with the most recent, moving backwards, we'll start off, well, actually first off, I'm just going to scoot this way a little bit. Since we're going to be spending quite a bit of time talking about what's sold, I'm going to get out of the way. And so my head's not cut off. Anyhow, first off, a Winnie the Pooh set for a toddler. It is a hard plastic plate, bowl, and then a soft rattle teether. It was 2 different sources. I picked up the bowl and the teether somewhere, and then I picked up the plate a little bit later, and they all matched up. So put them all together in one big lot. They sold for $20 on a best offer, and free shipping. Cost to me for the item $1, and they're going to cost me $3.50 to ship, because they are 15.25 ounces, which is good. So not a bad little sale. Up next, beautiful teacup and saucer set that I've had for a little while. It's a Haviland Limoges cup and saucer, beautiful flowers on it. Sat for a little while. Prices come down a bit. I think I started it at $35. I ended up selling it at $27 with $6 towards the shipping. And again, this is very light china. This is not a heavier teacup. It was very delicate and light. And so after a very good wrapping job, this one also came in at 15.5 ounces. I couldn't believe it when I measured these back to back, and they were both over 15 ounces, but under a pound. So they're going to be able to go first class and save me $3 or $4 each on the shipping as they stay. I think these ones are both staying here on the east side of the country. Up next, some Blue Mountain pottery figurines. If you've been a follower of the channel for a little while, you know I picked up a whole bunch of Blue Mountain pottery back at the box lot sales at my usual auction house way back. I think it was the first week of November. So I put up a few different groupings of the Blue Mountain pottery figurines. They're only about 2 inches tall, but I sold them for $22 with $6 towards the shipping. And they were, again, very, very light, so they were able to go first class, nice and cheap. And they've already arrived at the buyer's house, so they've already reached a destination. Up next, another plush. I'm having a lot of luck when I pick up the right plushes, and this one, I think I pointed this guy out in my last video, if I'm not mistaken. It is, yeah, I did, Rescue, the St. Bernard puppy. It was a large Thai plush, retired from, I think it was 2000. Do I want to say 2000, 2001, something like that. But I got $28, full asking price for that with free shipping. And again, he was light and pliable, so I stuffed him into a poly bag, and off he went for a nice cheap price to his new home. Next couple items are interesting to me. We talked in the last video as well about Norman Rockwell plates and how I had listed a bunch of those because I picked them up, 10 of them for $1 at auction a few months ago, and I was just getting around to listing them. Well, right away, I got a best offer of $20 for 2 plates and $10 towards the shipping, so I accepted the offer. My cost on those would be 20 cents because I got 10 plates for $1, so 10 cents a plate, 20-cent cost. 2 nice plates. They were part of a set. There was they did the 4 seasons every year based on Rockwell paintings, and this was 2 of the 4 from one particular season. So yeah, it was great. $20, good return. I've already made lots of money on top of my cost for the Rockwell plates, and there's still another 7 or 8 of them listed and getting quite a bit of action, which surprised me because collector plates aren't huge these days, but these ones seem to be getting quite a bit of traction, so we'll see how they go. And then, on top of the Rockwell plate, the day before the Rockwell plates sold, I sold a Rockwell Museum figurine. It was a young boy carrying a box full of puppies, and the mama dog was following along at his feet. So the figurine sold for $17, full asking price, with $6 towards the shipping. And again, I mean, it was 3 inches tall and super, super light. So again, first class, even if it was, I put it in a box to make sure it was protected, well padded and protected in a box. So yeah, that was another great sale. And again, a Rockwell figurine. Not thinking Rockwell's going to sell very well anymore, Norman Rockwell, but back to back in sales, it was pretty good. Up next, my one sale to a Canadian buyer was pink depression glass candle holders. I've had these for a little while, and these were again just in the bottom of a box at the auction sale. Sold them for $15 plus $13 towards the shipping, and I've talked about how crazy the pricing is for Canada Post versus U.S. Postal Service. Well, this is another example. I charged $13 for the shipping for these candle holders, and it didn't cover the shipping. And it was only going to one province to the east of me in Quebec. So I don't think I made a lot of money on the candle holders, maybe $5 profit when all is said and done after the cost of the shipping, but profit is profit, so I'll take it. This next item, probably one of the first 5 items I listed in my eBay store when I started doing this fairly seriously last April. It is one of those things that was around the house. It was a pair of my son's old blue jeans, a pair of Wrangler jeans that were just, he really has outgrown them quite long a time ago. So just one of those things sitting around the house that I probably listed as, again, guaranteed top 10, first 10 listings I ever did were for these jeans, and they finally sold 9 months later for $17 with free shipping, and I just put them in a padded envelope and off they went to somewhere in, I think, New Jersey. I think that's where they ended up. So, but you know, again, stuff around your house. I mean, you can donate it if you want, but if you think you're going to make a little bit of money on it, try it out. Try and sell it on eBay. Up next, a very cute little lidded sugar bowl, which was attached to the drip plate underneath. It was Nippon, made in Japan, very vintage, 1940s, 50s, I think, is the dating on that, if I remember my research. Sold that for $20. It's been in there for a little while, 6 months or so, but $20 with free shipping, and didn't cost me too much to ship, so good $5 to $9 profit probably on that one. And that's the thing with a lot of these items. I know some of them are taking 4, 5, 7 months to sell, but the cost I have into them is pennies. I mean, that Nippon sugar bowl was in a box with a whole bunch of other Japanese ceramics, and I probably paid for that sugar bowl probably 50 cents or less, based on the number of items that were in that box. So, if you haven't got a lot of money invested in something, well, just leave the listings up, and eventually there's a buyer for everything on eBay. So, someday they will sell. And they did. That was great. Well, you ready for this? If you follow the channel at all, especially in the last month and a half or so, remember I picked up that table full of 50 ladies' hats at auction back in the beginning of December. Well, I have sold one of the hats. The first hat has sold, and it was one of the it was a very nice toque or beanie, however you want to call it. We call it a toque up here in Canada. It sold for $17 with free shipping. The shipping, it was just a small little foldable hat, so it went into a poly mailer and cost me about $4 to ship. And the cost on that was about 6 cents. I got 50 hats for the equivalent of $3 US. So that's 6 cents per item cost. So I got $10 plus profit on the sale of one lady's beanie. So I paid for the entire table twice over, just from the profit from selling the one hat. And now the other 49 hats are all going to be profit. So looking forward to that. And I am going to do what I talked about in a previous video. I'm going to have a Super Sunday open house at my place just for the hats. I'm going to set up the hats on tables just inside my front door. I'm going to take some pictures tomorrow probably, and I'm going to post it on Facebook Marketplace, and then basically invite the ladies to get out of the house because it's Super Sunday and come on over and take a look at the hats that I have for sale. So, I'll sell them. I think I'm going to do about $8 per hat. If you buy less than 3, make it down to $6 if it's 3 to 10, and then after 10 it's going to be $5 a hat. So I've got 49 hats to sell. We'll see if I'm able to make any money on it this weekend. I'll let you know how it goes. Sold my old family Nintendo NES system. It was the original Nintendo NES. It had 2 controllers and the power cable, but it did not have the connector cable. And you can pick up those connector cables online or in restores and that kind of thing. So got $32 for it. Price came down a little bit, and I was following the prices on eBay to see what the solds were going for, and they were starting to come down a little bit. So I dropped the price a little bit, and then I got a best offer. So I took $32 plus $10 towards the shipping, and surprisingly, didn't cost a lot to ship, maybe $15. So all said and done, probably another $18 profit. Not quite. Yeah, $18 profit to $20 profit on, again, an item that's around the house, and sure, they're collector's items and all that kind of stuff. I could have held on to it, but it's taking up space in the closet. So get rid of it, make some money, and keep things flowing on the eBay store. So that was a nice little thing to get rid of as well. All right, last but definitely not least, this is the item that you see in the thumbnail for this video, and what I talk about as my fastest sale ever. Now, here's the full story, starting with the fact that, again, if you're a subscriber, by the way, you can subscribe below if you would like to follow along on this wonderful journey of mine as I show all my successes and my failures. This is definitely one of the successes we're going to talk about right now. If you follow along for the last little while, I've been doing my international shipping to the United States from a shipping company based out of Toronto. That's a good hour and 10-minute drive for me from here to take my items up to the shipping center, do my work up there, and then another hour and 10-minute drive back home. That's if I time it right and there's no accidents on the highway between here and Toronto. So I've been looking for another shipping company, one that will save me a lot of time and a lot of money and be local. And I found one in Niagara Falls. In fact, it is a 3-turn, 8-minute drive away from my house to get to this new shipping company that I found. and it's been great. What I did is I set up a pirate ship account, and now I buy my U.S. Postal Service postage directly through pirate ship, and then I take the already postaged packages to this company in Niagara Falls, and they charge me between $1.50 and $3 per package, depending on the size, to take it over the river for me, because they do a whole truckload, and they've got the paperwork and they've got the licenses to do that. Well, the best thing about this new shipping company is that it is literally, physically, right beside the Salvation Army thrift store in Niagara Falls. I mean, right beside. There are barriers, but their parking lots touch. So a couple weeks ago, actually 3 weeks ago, it was the second time I'd ever gone to use the shipping company. I had a few minutes to spare, and I popped into the Salvation Army thrift store, pulled out of one parking lot and around to the other parking lot, and went in the store. And I found a stuffed plush, Build-A-Bear, and it was in an outfit. And this is it here. Let me show it to you. So it's this Build-A-Bear beaver. It's a beaver Build-A-Bear with a Montreal Canadiens, who are members of the NHL, jersey, hockey pants, and a hockey helmet. And being the good Canadian boy that I am, and the sports lover that I am, I thought that the value in this plush would be in the outfit and the fact that it had on this Montreal Canadiens outfit. And there'd be a Montreal Canadiens fan who just had to have it and would pick it up and pay a pretty good price for it. So got it home, listed it on Thursday evening. After supper, I do a lot of listings on my days off, and Thursday night's my day off. So I listed the item, and it sold in 4.5 minutes. I'm not kidding. I had not even moved on to another listing. I was still checking my account to make sure it showed up on my listings and that kind of thing. And I got the notification 4.5 minutes after hitting list this item. And I couldn't believe it. And then I saw that the buyer was in California, and it sort of shocked me because I couldn't understand. And it turned out to be a 30-something-year-old woman in California who bought this Build-A-Bear Montreal Canadiens beaver, and I couldn't figure it out. So I took the step and I messaged her. I congratulated her on being the new record holder for the fastest sale ever on my eBay store, and I asked her why what's a young woman from California doing buying a hockey-themed beaver from Build-A-Bear from Canada. It wasn't the hockey at all. The Build-A-Bear beaver plush is a rare plush. There's not a lot of them out there. I wonder if it may be just Canadian only, because there's maybe 5 of them listed on eBay and another 6 of them sold max in the last 90 days. So there's not a lot of them being sold. But she had the notifications turned on through her eBay account to be notified every time a Build-A-Bear was listed, because she collects Build-A-Bears. And when she saw that it was a Build-A-Bear beaver, she purchased it right away at full asking price of $35, plus another $6 towards the shipping. Now, the question I had when I saw it sold in 4.5 minutes, I'm like, oh, I bet you I underpriced that. But I checked the comps for the beavers. I had checked them already when I was listing, because I always check the comps to see what the good price to list my stuff is at. I had listed a little bit higher than the plain Build-A-Bear beavers because I had the Montreal Canadiens outfit on it. So when I sold this for $35, it was still a good $5 to $7 higher than any of the other Build-A-Bear beavers that had sold. So I didn't underprice myself on the actual plush. Now, I even when I messaged her again, I said, if you want to sell the outfit, they're worth about $20 on their own, because they are. Those hockey outfits for the Build-A-Bears are worth about $20. So I jokingly told her, well, now that you've got the beaver plush, you can sell the hockey outfit if you do any selling on eBay, because they're worth $20. And she laughed back. So anyhow, 4.5 minutes. I couldn't believe it. People talk about their fastest sale being a few hours or whatever. So that's going to be a tough record to break. They say all records are made to be broken. I don't know if that one's ever going to be broken. From listing to sold and paid for in 4.5 minutes. It was crazy. And that was the longest to go sale I had. That's number 12 of our 12 items of what sold on eBay this week. So anyhow, I can't remember what I told you I was going to talk about, because I'm going to scoot over again, get centered. as I mentioned, new shipping company, and it's fantastic. They're doing a great job with my stuff. It's getting over there same day. If I get it to them by 3 o'clock in the afternoon, they don't leave their warehouse until 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and they take it right to the U.S. Postal Service distribution warehouse, which means my stuff is getting scanned before midnight on the same day that I drop it off at my shipping center here in Niagara Falls area. In Niagara Falls, I live nearby. The stuff that I was sending to Toronto, there were days, especially if I missed the cutoff on a Friday, it wasn't getting over to Niagara Falls, New York until Monday sometimes. So that was really slowing things down. So very, very happy with my new shipping company. They've saved me a lot of money and time. I mean, I was 2.5 hours plus every time I had to go take things to Mississauga, and now it's literally 8 minutes down the road and I'm there. And the Salvation Army is right beside, and my honey hole Goodwill is about half a mile away around the corner. So I've done a little bit of thrifting in the last little while. Yeah, it's been good, and I'm very, very happy with the way things are going now here mid-January onwards. It is the last day of January. I can't believe Friday will be the last day of January, and I can't believe 1 month is gone already. Not a bad month. With the 2 sales today, when they are paid for, we're going to end up with 23 sales in 30 days. And my average profit on each of those sales is pretty good. Probably profit-wise, $10 to $15 each. So not bad. Not a bad January, despite some slow times and despite my not best efforts, for about a total of 5 days maybe, where I just sort of slacked off and was really thinking about whether I wanted to continue doing this or not. So, I'm having too much fun. When I'm sitting here recording this video for you, I'm having too much fun doing this part, and the thrifting and the auctioning and the researching once I do get things. Speaking of which, one last thing just to quickly tell you about. I decided to try and expand my product lines, see what else I can find besides strictly vintage things, especially the ceramics and potteries and that kind of thing. So I went to an auction at my newer auction house here in St. Catharines Tuesday, and picked up quite a few things for a very good price. And the next video is going to be my auction haul, but it was more household goods items. Some of it not so old, some of it 5 to 10 years old, but definitely doesn't qualify as vintage. But household goods items, some Chinaware, IKEA type Chinaware, a lot of crafts. If you want some wicker, stay tuned, because I've got a couple of tables full of wicker that I picked up for $5. So you'll see a lot of wicker and arts and crafts supplies when I do the auction haul next video. And a few electronics, but I got most of this stuff, as I did before, on full table loads. I spent a grand total of $37 with all taxes and fees included, and it took 2 cars full to get it back to my house. So that's how much stuff I got at auction for $37 all in. And that's for next video. And so I want to thank you very much for dropping by. For those of you who are subscribers, thank you very much for your support over the last 9 months of doing this, 10 months almost now. This part is a lot of fun, and I have to remember that there are people that watch this, and there are maybe people that learn something from my mistakes and learn something from my successes. And so I'm going to be continuing to move forward with the channel and continue to move forward with the eBay business, and I hope you'll come along for the ride. You can subscribe if you haven't already at the button below, and then hit the bell to be notified every time a new episode is uploaded. Well, that's it for today. I've got a really, really full dining room table of stuff that I have to start going through again. After cleaning off the table finally about 3 weeks ago, it's full again. My girlfriend is none too pleased, so I got to get at it. I'll see you soon on another episode of M Cubed. Cheers.